Cartoons!
So I just heard that Cartoon Network is being merged with, I think, some other channel or something. I didn't really care to look too deep into it, but as far as I can tell, the Cartoon Network that I knew, well, to be fair with you, that's long dead, but the actual channel, it looks like it might be gone. And even if it's not, that era of cartoons and TV is also gone. And it makes me really sad, man. You know, Cartoon Network is literally so old, right? I mean, we didn't even really have internet when Cartoon Network was big, like cartoons and all that. Because, you know, you think about it these days, folks. If you want to watch a cartoon, let's say you want to watch Adventure Time, well, what do? Well, most of you either hop on Netflix or whatever streaming service you have, or maybe if you want to own it, you just buy a Blu-ray or buy a DVD. Do people still buy DVDs anyways? This should tell you how much I'm not keeping up with things. But, you know, back then, you kind of just had to turn on the TV and hope it was on. You know, or maybe you were lucky enough to have internet, or maybe your local video store. Again, this is how old we're going, you know, how far we're going back here and how old things are. You know, you'd have to go either open up a TV guide and be like, all right, when is that Eddie on? All right, 7 o'clock. All right, boom, I'm there. Or you had to be lucky enough that your local video store actually had, let's say, for, again, another example, Ed and Eddie DVDs or VHSs. Yeah, again, this is how far back we're going here. And it's just, it's sad, man. It's sad that that whole era, and, you know, look what happened with G4 TV. Again, another thing from that era that's just gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's still here, and I'm not trying to say that, you know, cartoons are dead and, oh my god, this is the end of everything. Because, you know, cartoons are still around, and they always will be around. Whether that's through TV or just through the internet, you know, especially on the internet, dude, animation is just booming. You know, from my perspective, I know a lot of people in the animation community will probably very, very heavily disagree with that. But seriously, though, man, like, you put up a good enough animation on YouTube, you'll be getting millions of views. I mean, look at Terminal Velocity or whatever this guy's name is who does all the Zelda and other Nintendo-styled animations. Yeah, they're crude, but they still are hilarious and generate millions of views. So yeah, cartoons are not going away. And I know that. But it's just, you know, with what happened with G4 TV and now what's happening with Cartoon Network, it's just like, you know, everything from my childhood is just disappearing, man. I mean, look what happened with Star Wars, for example. Whether you like or hate these newer movies, they're nowhere near as good as the older Star Wars, you know? Same thing with a lot of these cartoons. Again, I'm not trying to say every cartoon out there sucks ass, but a lot of them do. Just to be fair with you, a lot of stuff, especially on TV, and that's another thing, man. TV. I haven't watched TV since season 2 of The Walking Dead. You know, I remember when The Walking Dead first came out, I actually watched the first whole season on TV. Nowadays, if I want to watch it, I'm not going to go turn on a TV and check out AMC to see if they're rerunning an episode I might have missed. I'm just going to go on a streaming service and watch it there, just like everybody else. But it's, you know, and for that matter, I'm actually happy, because I don't want to sit here and fucking wait 2 weeks or however long it is between each episode. I just wait for a whole season to come out and watch it. But, you know, it's, especially when it comes to the Cartoon Network, this channel back in the day had so much meaning to me. It was one of those things, because I was always a nerd. I've admitted this. I'm a nerd. I've always been a nerd. I was not the kid trying to go sneak out and go get drunk somewhere with a bunch of people, right? I was the kid that wanted to stay at home, watch cartoons, and play video games. And that's it. I was a pretty simple kid, man. And Cartoon Network, especially back then, because my family was under really tough times, you know, Cartoon Network was one of those things where, you know, after a long week of school and all the other drama I had to deal with, and just all the drama that was happening around the world, you know, September 11th, for example, which I know for a lot of you nowadays is nothing but a meme or a joke. But back then, yeah, as a kid, that shit was scary, man. It was really scary. And so was a lot of things in life. And one of the things that made me feel safe and made me feel like, hey man, it's cool, you know, it's gonna be alright, was things like Cartoon Network, for example. And hearing that it's not so much just going to be gone, but it's not going to be what it used to be. And again, to be fair, it never has been for the last, well, I don't know, what, 10 years? You know, again, it wasn't like I've been watching Cartoon Network religiously for like the last 20 years or something, right? So I'm really not losing anything at all, but still, that whole era of TV and just society, too. This is before smartphones became a thing, man. Seriously, the most high-tech phone that you would have back then is one of those old flip phones that is nothing more than a burner phone nowadays. You know, it really was one of those times, man, where if you wanted to find out about a new cartoon, you didn't go on Twitter, you didn't go on Google, you just popped on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or whatever channel works for you, and you'd be like, oh, dude, check it out, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, it looks so cool, I can't wait for that to come out. You know what I mean? And Dude, I remember that. I remember when Foster's Home first launched. I remember that night, I think I like ordered a pizza or something. I remember just sitting there in the dark with a big old TV. This is back when my family actually had some money. And we had a big old TV, and I was laying there on the couch, right? I'm just laying back. You know, it's pitch black. We got nice surround sound speakers because we lived in an apartment that had sort of like a second level. So we had these like really nice theater style speakers. And dude, when that Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, when that fucking theme came on, man, it was like, wow, this is amazing. Look at that. Oh my god, this is one of the coolest cartoons ever. I don't know. And then Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, you guys remember that show? Only 90s and early 2000s kids really remember this, you know. I remember when that show first came out, it was like, wow, this is some pretty dark stuff for a kid's show. Well, the early episodes were, at least. And then, you know, Courage the Cowardly Dog, I remember when that first came out. I remember when, you know, Return the Slab, I remember when that came out. I actually wasn't scared of it. I thought that was like like a really funny episode. I just, you know, and then Ed, Edd n Eddy, my god, I love Ed, Edd n Eddy, man. I have to make an Ed, Edd n Eddy episode on this channel, dude. I have to make like a retrospective or something on it, because I love that show that much, man. And to know that that whole era that I grew up with is just kind of gone. And not to mention, you know, there were a lot of people who were fired. A lot of people who lost their jobs because of this. And yeah, they don't have a job anymore. That's really sad, man. You know, and like I said, I don't think Cartoon Network as a whole is going to be completely gone. You know, the YouTube channel that sometimes uploads full episodes of older cartoons, by the way, like Ed, Edd n Eddy, is still up, and I'm pretty sure they'll continue making decent content. And I'm pretty sure there'll be decent cartoons that come on there, like Adventure Time, for example. I don't hate Adventure Time. I think it's a pretty fun little show. You know what I mean? But again, the era of having just so many good shows all at once. You sit down, man, you sit down on a Friday night and you'd have like a crap ton of cartoons. You'd have, again, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo, all this hilarious stuff. And it's just gone. You know, G4 TV, that's gone. It's not what it used to be. You know, it's just sad, man. I don't mean to be so depressing here, but it really is just sad to see it go, man. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. This is just depressing. It's like, can we go 5 minutes without something horrible happening, man? Seriously, can we please just go like just one day without something horrible happening? Anyways, though, guys, I'm just rambling at this point. I'm gonna end the video here. This is Snowman. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. I think I'm gonna go sit in my shower and cry for about 15 years, so either way though, guys, have a nice day.